sitting right here? I sure don't leave for that. Well, thank you. I tell you what, it's a pleasure for me to be here. I'm totally flabbergasted, honored, humbled, you name it. That's what I feel right now, just receiving this award. Charlie, I don't know how many people really know too much about you and your background, but Charlie grew up in Allentown, Pennsylvania. And in Allentown, Charlie was like in 3rd grade. There was an overpopulation of students. So they went to an arrangement where they would have three different sessions of kids. The brightest students would go to the morning session. I don't know how you say it, the not so bright kids would go to the afternoon session. Charlie was in the evening session. Charlie went to he went to Pace School on 4th Avenue. He went to Woodrow Wilson Middle School, went to Allentown Central High School, and then he went to get his BS degree at DeSales University. And the ironic thing about all 4 schools, was that they used the same textbooks throughout. Before I really get into this talking about Coach LoBalbo, I've got to do this, and I can't believe it hasn't been done already, but I'd like to introduce you, and I would hope you put your hands together as I introduce the president of FDU, Dr. Michael Alvarado. He's not here tonight. He's actually out in Ohio having a fundraiser out there. But I told him if he mentioned me there, I would introduce him here. I'm very honored to be here tonight. The 4 individuals that are being put into the Hall of Fame. Mike, the only academic All-American that FDU's had in the baseball program for short. Lauren, first team All-NEC for 3 years in a row. Her numbers on both sides of the net are unbelievable. Erica, all-conference, first team 3 years, and then defensive player of the year in the conference. I mean, you just can't do better than that. And then Michael Presky, 2 national championships, always in the top 25, set an incredible standard for collegiate bowling. On my way over here this night, my wife couldn't be here. She's actually in Bethlehem, taking care of her sister who's having some health issues right now. But the best thing that my wife Margaret and I did drove me over here tonight. And I'd like to introduce him. He played for me in 2001 for 1 year, transferred to Delaware, graduated from there in 2004. Then 2004-05 came back and played on our championship team in the NCAA tournament. And then after that year, stayed on with me as a graduate assistant, helped me coach basketball work. My son Brad, please stand up and give away. I'm literally thrilled to be getting this award tonight. Al LoBalbo, 50 years of coaching, St. Mary's High School of Elizabeth from 1947 to 62, Belleville High School from 62 to 67. During that time period, he won 8 state championships. And then he goes with Bobby Knight from 1967 to 69. Before he becomes head coach at FDU. And the 11 years he spent here he had some very good years and some not so good years. Just typical what coaches go through. His last 16 years, he worked at St. John's as an assistant coach, where he worked for Coach Carnesecca and then Brian Mahoney. And I never met Al. But I came very close to having a relationship with him. I say that because in 1967, I narrowed my choice of schools down to like a half a dozen. And of those half a dozen that I went to visit, et cetera, I decided either between Syracuse University or going to West Point and playing for Coach Knight there at Army. And it was like 11th hour and 59th minute decision for me to go to Syracuse. Had I gone to West Point, I would have been dealing with Al for a couple of years myself as a student athlete. But nevertheless, in the 2008 when he was admitted to the Hall of Fame, I had a chance to visit with his wife, Ruth. Just a lady just oozes with class. I mean, just a terrific woman. The listing of people that have gotten this award here, and I wrote them down in order. I may have missed one or two, but Seth Greenberg, the first, followed by U.B. Brown, Bill Raftery, Lou Carnesecca, George Blaney, P.J. Carlissimo, Jim Calhoun, Bob Hurley, and Mike Fratello. I mean, I can't believe that my name will be mentioned in future years in the same manner. These guys, absolutely incredible that I'm going to be mentioned down the road. Brad, don't forget about that. Include me down the road. Okay, thank you so much. I'll be checking on that down the road as well. Al was known to be a defensive guru. I mean, he loved teaching the principles of man-to-man defense. The whole thing that coaches have been teaching for years. Ball, you, man. Jack, this sounds familiar, I'm sure to you, Coach Castleberry here, that, it's just a fundamental that all coaches preach in terms of how you're going to play your man individually. Are you going to get on his right hand? Are you going to get on his left hand? Are you going to shade him to the baseline? Are you going to shade him to the middle? I mean, Al was a guru of defense, man-to-man defense, and taught that. And it was highlighted by one of his years of coaching here at FDU, where they were #1 in America in the defensive percentage, or defensive points per game. He just did a terrific job. He had a chance to coach U.B. Brown in high school. Unbelievable. Al's teams played a little bit slow and methodical at times, but nevertheless, just his defensive teachings were absolutely phenomenal. Al was a strict disciplinarian. You did it his way, or you might be on the bench. I had a chance to speak to about a dozen of Al's former players within the last week, and not everyone liked him. But everybody respected him. He was just a guy that his whole authority, when he had the whistle around his neck, you had his respect. It was just that simple. Every player to a T said that he would ask him to go through a wall, and you would go through a wall for Al. He just commanded that kind of respect. His players, and I'm going to make it sound like they were somewhat akin to like an Army platoon, where you work together, you live together, you play together, and when his players left FDU, they bonded together, just like an Army platoon would do years after leaving the service. And the whole group from the 1970s, players that played for him in the 70s up until Al left here in 80, they've got a bond that is just so strong. You can call one guy and ask him to contact his friends right away. Within 10 minutes, he's hit a texting chain or an email chain, and just camaraderie that he has developed among his players is just so great. Coaching can be so rewarding. I've coached here for 26 years. I love this school. I love everything about it. I had a very good run here, and people here treated me really well for the most part. It didn't always end that way, but they treated me rather well for 25 and a half years, I should say. My ending wasn't exactly the way I would have pictured it or written it up, so to speak. But we had a good run, you know. And as a head coach, and Jack, you'll be doing this one day yourself. You remember the good wins. I remember us beating Seton Hall. I remember us beating Rutgers. I remember us having a great game when Providence was really good, going to their arena and beating them there. All the tough losses, I had forgotten. Believe me, I had forgotten so long ago. Michigan, up 6 at halftime, and up 10 with 8 minutes to go. 4 starters between the 8-minute mark and the 4-minute mark fouled out. I still have that box score to look at to remind me. If I have one good thoughts, I look at it, and then at the 4-minute mark, I quit looking at it. You know, we played Purdue, as they mentioned. Had our best player 2 fouls in the first minute. That was the end of that game, so to speak. We ended up losing by, I guess it was 12 or 14 to Purdue. And then a few years later, we're playing UConn in the NCAA tournament. And very similar to what happened against Purdue, my best player was Sean Turner, 2 fouls in the first 2 minutes. Can't play the rest of the half. We had a little guard named Elijah Allen. Had 43 points in that game. Just had an incredible, the most points scored in a single game that entire NCAA tournament. Just kept us there, kept us close. With 3 minutes to go, we're down 2. Ended up losing by, I guess, 7. And then that game against the University of Illinois, just a great game. These are the memories that I have. We're playing Illinois. There were 16,000 people in the RCA Dome. At halftime, just before the half, we had a 3-point shot at the buzzer. And 14,000 people had nothing to say. They had 2,000 people cheering us on. Some were local, some were the FDU people following us. But nevertheless, it was really good. Getting this award just means so much to me. My love for the school has been strong for a long period of time. We had a small lapse there along the way, but it's been so strong for a long period of time. I can't thank you enough for the Hall of Fame committee for bringing my name forward for this award. Last week I was dicing some vegetables to put in a salad, and I cut my finger, and I looked at it really closely, and I'm still bleeding burgundy and blue. Thank you so much tonight. Thank you for this evening. I greatly appreciate it.